Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we live and breathe everything happening in purple and gold. Before we get into today's bombshell, do me a favor right now. Smash that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat when the Lakers shake up the league once again. All right, Lakers fam, buckle up because the rumor mill is off the charts. Let's talk about Rui Hachimura potentially being shown the exit door in Los Angeles. That's right. Word on the street is that the Lakers would rather trade Rui Hachimura than Austin Reaves this offseason, and the implications are massive. But I'm not going to just blurt out what's happening and call it a day. Instead, let's peel back the layers, explore every angle, and speculate wildly, while staying grounded in what we know about why LA might pony up to move Hachimura, what kind of return they'll chase, and what it could mean for the trajectory of this season and beyond. So here's the scoop. A journalist at the playoffs reported recently that the Lakers see Hachimura as a more expendable piece compared to Reaves. Rui's a skilled forward who gave us some memorable moments. He averaged 13.1 points, 5.0 rebounds, and 1.4 assists per game in the 2024-25 season, while knocking down about 38% of his three-pointers. But by the same token, his defense has been suspect at times, and his expiring salary, roughly $18.3 million for 2025-26, is now seen as movable cap space that could help LA wrestle in a bigger fish. Meanwhile, Reaves, despite shooting only 31.9% from deep in the playoffs, showed a knack for creating offense, averaging 16.2 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.6 assists over 5 postseason games. So insiders say the front office is unanimous. If there's a trade to be made, Hachimura's the one most likely to hit the market. But why Hachimura, and why now? Could this mean LA is truly committed to maximizing the LeBron-Jokic hybrid era, or rather the LeBron-Doncic superstreak, rather than hanging on to a solid but unspectacular role player? The Lakers, loaded with stars like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, have a pressing need to shore up their interior rotation. Their second-unit bigs, like Jared Vanderbilt and Maxime Kleber, have value, but none offer the consistent size and shooting that a trade for a player like Kristaps Porzingis or perhaps an emerging wing could bring. Hachimura, while reliable, occupies a roster spot that could be used for a more specialized floor-spacing big or even packaged as salary relief to bring in a difference-maker on a short-term rental. Some insiders believe that moving Hachimura is a sign the Lakers are going all in on championship horsepower and that they're willing to sacrifice some depth for a true X-factor. Fans are wondering if this could be the beginning of a major ripple effect in the Western Conference. Imagine LA sending Rui, a second-round pick and maybe a mid-tier guard to a team like Phoenix or New Orleans in exchange for, say, a young sharpshooter or an up-and-coming playmaker. Could this mean that the Lakers are eyeing someone like Buddy Hield, a proven three-point assassin who can keep opposing defenses honest? It's possible. Could it be that LA is laying the groundwork to entice a big name with the promise of fuller cap flexibility and the allure of sharing the court with LeBron and Luka? Fans are already speculating that the front office might even dangle Hachimura to land a shot blocker who could patrolling the paint behind Anthony Davis. Some insiders believe that conversations have already started with teams like Minnesota or Chicago to explore swapping Hachimura for a center who can anchor the defense. Let's rewind to the spring, when Hachimura stepped up in LA's first-round clash against the Timberwolves. In those moments, he was vital, his size and physicality compensating for the Lakers' lack of interior depth. He battled Karl Anthony Towns and Naz Reid, grabbed big rebounds and drilled clutch buckets. But when the Lakers evaluate long-term fit, the jury seems divided. Do they prize his chemistry with the locker room and his willingness to pop open three-point spots? Or do they value Reaves's playmaking and synergy with the stars even more? According to Clutch Points, the Lakers won't even entertain offers for Reaves unless an all-star is involved, because the FO sees Reaves as a core-building piece who brings an unselfish play style and high offensive efficiency at a bargain price. It's the kind of calculation that makes you wonder, is the Lakers brass prepared to trade pieces like Hachimura simply to preserve their flexibility for a walk-in free agent this summer? Could they be angling to save cap space to make room for a max contract signee, someone with the credentials of, say, Drew Holiday or Devin Booker, if Hachimura's deal comes off the books? Some Lakers faithful are already in meltdown mode, tweeting, "How can you trade my boy Rui after what he did in the playoffs?" Others are excited, replying, "Finally, clear the decks, get a real beast in the paint." The reality, though, may be more nuanced. With only one first-round pick available, LA has to use it wisely. Could this mean that Rui is simply the most attractive chip the Lakers can offer without surrendering future draft capital? Is it possible that the FO sees a deal in which LA absorbs a bit of long-term salary for a short-term upgrade, banking on the idea that LeBron and Luka will mask any minor gaps down the stretch? And let's not underestimate the psychological effect on the locker room. Hachimura showed up as a supportive teammate, a guy who grafts on defense, even if it sometimes looks like he's fighting through quick second-help rotations. But if his name surfaces in trade rumors, how will that affect Azul and Amarillo unity? Will younger players like Dalton Knecht, Bronny James, or Luke Kennard feel pressured to overperform to convince the FO they're next on the chopping block? Could this rumor spark a positive prove-it vibe that inspires someone like Sierra Canyon's prodigy to make a leap, or will it foment uncertainty? Meanwhile, the rival front offices are taking notice. Teams like the Warriors, Lakers, perennial adversaries, are monitoring how flexible LA might become. If the Lakers truly move Hachimura, the Warriors could pounce in free agency, believing LA will be starved for cap space and forced to overpay next season's role players just to fill out the roster. Could this be a feint by the Lakers, pretending to be lean, then swooping in on a bigger prize when the dominoes start falling in early July? Fans are already theorizing that a disguised maneuver like this could give LA the element of surprise when negotiating with their 2025 free agent targets. And what about Hachimura's perspective? From the outside, many might view him as simply a trade piece, someone who's averaging 13.1 points and shooting near 38% from deep, with the physical tools to guard quality wings. Yet, insiders suggest players like Hachimura want stability, the chance to refine their game in a steady environment. If he does get traded, it could mark a turning point in his career trajectory. Will he land somewhere that values his interior, shooting more? Will a new destination unleash the next version of himself, perhaps playing 30 minutes with a larger role and fewer defensive assignments? Some voices in the Lakers organization believe that moving Hachimura could open the door for someone like Christian Wood or John Collins, a big who can stretch the floor while also protecting the rim. Could it be that the Lakers' ultimate target is a front-court duo that pairs Davis's elite defense with another rim protector who can clean up second-chance points? If so, Hachimura's name will continue to surface until a deal is struck. Let's consider the cap ramifications, too. Hachimura's expiring $18.3 million deal frees up significant space that could be used to absorb another team's undesirable salary in a three-team swap. For instance, if LA wants to get a playmaking point guard who's on an expiring deal, packaging Hachimura's salary might make that possible without giving up draft picks. Could this be the chess move the front office is planning, where they use Hachimura as the salary anchor to scoop up a player just on the wrong side of an injury, someone like De'Aaron Fox or Chris Paul, if they become available? Speculators already believe that this kind of maneuver could tip the scales in the West, tipping LA's roster into the super team tier overnight. But let's circle back to what the fans most want to know. How will this impact the starting five and the rotation? If Hachimura is moved, who will fill his role? Will it be a high-upside rookie like Dalton Knecht stepping into an expanded role? Will veterans like Rui's fellow countrymen former Gonzaga big man Chet Holmgren become possibilities if they're shopped? Could the Lakers look to Europe or the G League for a hidden gem to replace a departing Hachimura, someone who can replicate his hustle and rim running at half the cost? If the Lakers do pull the trigger on sending Rui Hachimura out, the immediate question is, what comes back in return? One strong possibility is that LA targets a true rim protector, a player whose mere presence alters shots and forces opponents to reconsider every drive to the paint. Names like Robert Williams III or Jakob Poeltl start to float in the ether. Imagine Williams III patrolling the paint, booming one-handed flushes off the lob from LeBron, and timelining his opponents at the rim. Every possession becomes a statement. His partner pick-and-roll chemistry with the playmaking backcourt, especially. If the Lakers were to pivot toward a guard like De'Aaron Fox, could redefine LA's identity from a shooter-driven team to a bruising inside-out juggernaut. But here's the rub. Those types of trade targets often come at a steep price. To pry Williams III or Poeltl's contract out of Boston or San Antonio, LA might have to include more than just Hachimura's expiring deal. The Lakers could find themselves packaging multiple future second-round picks, a role player or two, and maybe a veteran like Lonnie Walker IV just to balance salaries. That's the kind of calculus that makes fans collectively hold their breath, because giving up potential future assets can feel like a gamble when star retirements and injuries lurk around every corner. On the flip side, perhaps the Lakers steer toward a slightly different blueprint. Instead of chasing a traditional rim protector, they could target a versatile, switchable big man, a player like Jalen Smith from Indiana or Isaiah Hartenstein from New York. Both have shown flashes of defensive instincts coupled with floor spacing ability that aligns with the modern NBA's demands. If LA were to bring in Hartenstein, for example, his 6'10" frame and 7'3" wingspan allow him to switch onto smaller wings in pick and rolls while still contesting opposing bigs, a luxury the Lakers often lacked down the stretch last season. And offensively, his ability to roll to the rim and finish through contact combined with an emerging mid-range game gives LeBron another reliable cutter to feed when defenses collapse on Luka in isolation. Could adding someone like Hartenstein propel the Lakers to an entirely new tier of two-way efficiency? Some insiders believe that this style of roster upgrade, trading Hachimura's 3-and-D skill for a do-it-all forward-center hybrid, is precisely the kind of pivot needed to elevate LA from a talented group into a true title-contending machine. Meanwhile, the ripple effects of such a trade would be felt in the rotation. If Hartenstein joins, we might see LeBron slide to power forward in small ball lineups more regularly, freeing up Luka to orchestrate from the wing. Picture lineups where LeBron drifts toward the elbow, reading closeouts before pinpointing Hartenstein or D'Angelo Russell for catch-and-shoot triples. Or imagine late-game scenarios where the Lakers unleash a LeBron-Hartenstein pick-and-roll, forcing double teams that open up shooters like Austin Reaves and Gabriel Deck on the weak side. This kind of offensive diversity is a luxury few teams in the West can boast. Could it be the difference maker in a 7-game series against the Mavericks or Nuggets? But let's not gloss over the destabilizing potential of moving Hachimura. Chemistry is real, even on superstar-studded teams. In the locker room, Rui's ready smile and workmanlike approach have been calming forces. If he's traded for a more talented, but perhaps more mercurial player, how does that affect clubhouse cohesion? Veterans like LeBron and Davis excel at bridging those gaps, but there's a delicate art to integrating new personalities mid-season. Could a misstep in player fit lead to siloed ball handling, contested shot attempts, and miscommunication on rotations? Some Lakers veterans have privately expressed concern that replacing a steady presence with a volatile star could backfire. Players need time to build trust on defense, and pulling a rotation piece abruptly during a playoff push risks fracturing that trust. The front office will need to carefully weigh these intangible factors against the tangible upside of acquiring a new piece. The story is unfolding right now, with each phone call, each front office meeting, and each leak to the press. Adding another brushstroke to this evolving Lakers canvas, one thing is certain. In a conference where margins are measured in single possessions and every slump can shift playoff tiebreakers, marginal gains matter. Whether the Lakers decide to trade Rui Hachimura, keep him as a stabilizing piece, or leverage him as a salary asset for a bigger splash, the ramifications are monumental. So now, Lakers faithful, here's my final question for you. With all we know, his expiring salary, his on-court contributions, and the Lakers' championship instincts, should LA move Rui Hachimura to chase a higher-ceiling talent, or should they preserve continuity and trust in their developing core? Personally, as a die-hard supporter who's cheered through every playoff run and rebuild, I believe the right move is to trade him for a versatile two-way big who can guard the Rockets' mash-up lineups and stretch defenses with reliable shooting. But I also respect the argument for patience. Sometimes roster harmony and incremental improvements beat a shotgun upgrade. I can't wait to read your takes in the comments below.